Nottingham Forest 3, Chelsea 1, 6. I repeat, 6 league defeats in a row for the world champions. No Champions League football. They finally score a goal, though, but it is disaster, disaster, disaster every step of the way. BlueCo boys, where are you? The BlueCo defenders, where are you? 9th in the league table. If Everton win tonight, it could be 10th. And with an away game at Anfield to come, it could be 10th, 11th, or 12th by the end of this season. It is a crisis. It is a disaster. It is catastrophic on every level. This is the West London Pompeii that we are witnessing here. This is a capitulation, a meltdown, a disaster of epic proportions. I keep expecting to see Bruce Willis coming out with a dirty vest to save the day, but this is an abomination on every level. The ownership, the players, the coaching staff, every single facet of the football club is a joke right now. It truly, truly is. As ever, I want your thoughts. I want your opinions. I want to know what you're thinking and you're feeling, because that, my friends, that, my pedigree chums, was a beatdown. It was a beatdown, a baptism under fire. It was a public circumcision that we witnessed in West London. Robin Hood and his boys came down. They robbed you today. That was typical Robin Hood from Sherwood Forest in Nottingham. That was the changes to that Forest team. And they still slapped them. They still beat them. And what of the players, though? What of the Enzos, the Caicedos, the Palmers? I rate these players highly. I rate them. Maybe not Enzo so much, but I rate these players. Where were they? Nowhere to be seen. João Pedro, look, he gets a little credit for the overhead kick. But the rest of them, shocking. I do want to say, of course, a massive get well soon to Jesse Derry, an horrendous head injury, and we wish the young man a very speedy, a very quick, and a very safe recovery back to full fitness. He actually was one of the only Chelsea players in that first half up until his untimely injury that was really putting in a shift, was doing anything of any real note. But of course, had to come off the pitch. But it was a shocker. It was a shocker. And there's a lot of stories this season. There's a lot of talk this season about bottle jobs. There's a lot of talk about this club, the other club, this guy. Chelsea might end up coming out on top here. Chelsea may be the biggest bottle jobs of the 25-26 season. Yes, Spurs are in a relegation battle. They look like they might survive right now, but they were right down the bottom of the league last year. Man United are getting ridiculed for, you meant to be third. You're only playing one game a week, after most people predicted a 9th place and below finish. Liverpool have, of course, collapsed massively after their expenditure and being champions of England, but they are on course to re-qualify for the Champions League. Arsenal may be called bottlers for not winning a league title, but they're still a side that are in the title race and very likely to be there again next year. When you look at Chelsea, champions of the world, billions of pounds spent, improvement last year, trophies back in, to be heading towards 10th, 11th, 12th towards the end of this season. They were a João Pedro goal away from being, for the first time ever, going on a run of 6 defeats in a row without scoring a single goal. But it's still 6 defeats on the bounce. The form is worse than Tottenham's, and they're world champions. They've spent more than anybody else. This is one of the biggest capitulations of a season, one of the biggest bottle jobs of a campaign, and one of the most mismanaged, self-destructive football teams we have ever witnessed in the history of this game. It is that bad. That's not an exaggeration. That isn't going over the top. I actually feel for Chelsea supporters. I don't really believe any fan base, by and large, deserves to see what we are witnessing. I don't blame the interim manager. It's not really his fault. But the players don't care. The fans are leaving with 20 minutes to go. The ownership don't have a clue. The whole thing is a disaster. There will be no Champions League football. next season. And financially, they're on the edge. They're on the edge of a huge black hole, and they are being sucked into it. BlueCo have got to shape up. BlueCo have got to change things, and they've got to change them now. Give us your thoughts, give us your opinions in that comment section below. But I do mean what I've just said there. Chelsea they're in a lot of trouble, to put it mildly. People often go about crisis. This is beyond a crisis right now. Truly, beyond a crisis. Beyond a crisis, what we have just witnessed today. And look, big shout out to Forest. Excellent. They showed Villa that you can rotate. You know, yesterday, I got a lot of Spurs fans hating on what I said yesterday, that it felt like cheating. Oh, you're allowed to rotate. We had players missing. It's because you've followed idiots online that said the rotating element in itself was the cheating. I was talking more about the complete and utter lack of effort in the game. You saw today a team rotate and players fighting hard to say, well, pick me for the semi, pick me for the final. Fighting for it, really fighting for their lives today, Forest were. It's not the rotation I had the issue with. It was the fact that Aston Villa didn't look like they wanted to play the game of football, didn't work hard, didn't look bothered. Forest were the other way. And what a start from them. Awani today, amazing. The young lad, Bakwa, on the right-hand side, he cooked Kukurea something chronic today. Igor Jesus. And then the subs at half-time. I mean, unfortunately, Gibbs White had to go off with a head injury as well. He came on and was just tearing things up. And I think if Gibbs White stays on, this could have been a 4-5-6-0 because he was just finding those pockets of space beautifully and unfortunately had to go off. But this was maybe the most embarrassing. And I know they got a goal back, but it's 3 times in, I think, the last 5 matches that Chelsea have conceded 3 goals in the league in their defeats. It's just shocking. Brighton beat them 3-0 as an example in one game. Everton have beaten them 3-0. City have beaten them 3-0. PSG beat them 3-0. A lot of 3 goals. And listen, you go back to that Man United game. If we'd have counter-attacked better, we should have done it too. Like, I was happy we won that game, but we should have done more. And it's been a while that Chelsea's last real good performance, honestly, was Aston Villa away on the 4th of March. Even against Leeds in the FA Cup, they deserved it. They weren't great. Leeds really should have scored some goals. They've been poor for a long, long time now, Chelsea. Let's have it right. Let's have it straight. They just have. Whether people like hearing this or not, whether it triggers them or not, it's the absolute truth. But look, I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions on these games today because they're crazy, in my opinion. Truly, truly crazy what we have seen and witnessed here today. Players, no shame. Go Dubai, Spain to produce this. Chelsea have now become the banter club once again, thanks to taking that Argentinian. Lost to their C team. Players are a disgrace. Listen, Dyke, I hear you, mate. That's the sobering factor here for Chelsea. This wasn't just a bad result. It was a beatdown, an annihilation to a reserve team. Yes, they're still fighting for their survival, but I think they're pretty much safe anyway, although not mathematically. They rotated ahead of a massive game, the biggest game in their last 25 years, you could argue. Maybe getting promoted, games in that to get to this point were bigger. But Chelsea couldn't do anything. And I know Chelsea's season is all but done because they maybe felt, Champions League is now too far away. But show some fight, get the win. Villa lost yesterday, close that gap, put the pressure on. Make it difficult for them. Instead, Chelsea just fell out of the Champions League race today with a whimper. Tottenham can go on and slap Chelsea at the bridge for the second time, 4-1. Come on, you Spurs. I am 100% confident, but we have to beat Leeds first. If Spurs play with the intensity they did yesterday against the way Chelsea are currently playing, they will beat them. They will beat them. Because Stamford Bridge, and I will quote Don here, is a whorehouse. It's a cat house. If you go there and pay your dues, you are getting the wham bam ham. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Conor Gallagher, masterclass against his old team. He's very good yesterday. Got to give him credit there. Spurs safe and Chelsea mudded. Heartbreak, no relegation. Look, do you know what's very interesting about that? And I weren't going to bring this up on today's show, but I will. Arsenal have got to get the job done against West Ham. But there's a big famous tweet that every time Arsenal went out of a competition for the last 3 years since Declan Rice made the move, this West Ham post has got millions of views and hundreds of thousands of likes. And it was Declan Rice has basically retired from winning trophies. This is the first and last one he wins. And it's him lifting the Conference League with West Ham. How about the irony that Arsenal could beat West Ham, almost clinch the league title, which would be a trophy for Rice, while simultaneously almost relegating West Ham. I mean, it could go the other way and West Ham could stop him winning the league and keep themselves up. But it also could, the side story in that is amazing. And I love stuff like that. I absolutely love things like that when people have run their mouth off and could lose. BlueCo out of its depth. Yeah, BlueCo are out of their depth, but it's now about what are the Chelsea fans going to do? You're going to buy the new kits, so you're going to get gassed over a signing or two. You're going to renew your season tickets, so you're going to keep pumping money into the football club. Let me know. Chelsea could be a non-league team and they'll still beat Spurs as usual. Listen, I expect you to beat Spurs. They're a relegation team. You're a team that should be in the Champions League. You're the champions of the world. But what I'm telling you now, True Blue, if you increase your intensity and your effort and energy levels and effort levels, you'll beat them. You're better than them. But if you play with today's intensity versus their current intensity, you will lose. That's the point I'm making. As opposed to just a blanket statement of who will win and who will lose. It's all about the intensity. Lavia better than Rice, Don. Well, we were talking in the group chats because Don's not in them anymore. I weren't talking in them. I was actually just looking at them. But again, it's not even that. It's saying Caicedo is better than Kante. And I'm not blaming anything specifically on Kante or specifically on Palmer, but they're part of a team that's on one of the worst runs of form in the history of this football club. They're part of a team that was a shoo-in for the top 4 3 months ago that is now looking like it might finish 12th or 13th in the league. That's why sometimes it ain't about, this is why I don't judge players. Like, ability comes into a conversation, but I do judge players on their delivery, their application, what they're part of, and how they individually influence it. Because I will say today, you might give Pedro a pass because of the overhead kick, but there ain't a Chelsea player that walks away from this game with his head held high with a bit of pride. No one. Absolutely not a single one of them. Shocking on every single level. And I don't think that can be disregarded at all. Shocking. Some of you guys say some really weird things. A lot of people are going to hold a lot of smoke for their United comments. Well, look, they have. I mean, Jamie Carragher's doing that. Again, this is where the producers get in their ears and make them do content creator things. Don't get carried away because you come third. You're playing one game a season. Go back to the beginning of the campaign. Carragher, where do you think United will finish? 9th. That's the problem with a lot of people. They're very two-faced and duplicitous, and it kills the game, and it kills the conversations. It's as simple as that. Just hold your hands up when you get something wrong. Someone then messaged me for pointing it out with, well, where did you predict you come? And I said 8th, but I'm saying we've overachieved. And I'm congratulating us for coming 3rd. I'm not going, yeah, well, we should have been there anyway. If I'd have felt we should have been there, that should have been my prediction, right? Wait, I thought the manager didn't matter. The manager matters. The head coach matters massively at a team. Because the one thing I'd say about these Chelsea players, which might not go down very well, but I believe this. You look at these Chelsea players, they look unfit, they look disinterested, they look very poorly drilled. And they've become a worse team in the 3 or 4 months that Enzo Maresca has been gone because the coaching they're receiving isn't as good. You can see it in them. Yeah, there was a little bit of, they scored that goal and their towels got up a little bit in the game. But this team ain't well drilled. This team ain't playing very well. Not at all. Not at all. It's pretty shocking if we're being honest. Absolutely shocking. Andrew Barnes and Judge Mo are going to be joining me in a few minutes' time. If you'd be so kind to hit that like button, that'd be amazing. Let's get these likes up, please, people, to at least 500 whilst we're live. Did Palmer con everyone in his last season? Not in my opinion. In my personal view, I think when it comes to Cole Palmer, I think Palmer mentally given up on Chelsea. I think he's mentally given up. And you saw it in that interview. He did that kind of PR interview of, I want to be here, I want to stay. The headlines went out and everybody, got out their lubrication, got out their lotion, and they knocked one out. Told you, Terry, staying. What does he say in his very next interview? Not getting into the Champions League will change everything. Chelsea are now not in the Champions League. And by the way, people, they come sixth and this happens. They come in sixth. They come in seventh or eighth. Chelsea are not going to play in the Champions League next year. Anybody who wants to bet? Right now, we do it. £1,000 in escrow. I bet you £1,000 Chelsea are not in the Champions League next year via their league position. Maybe some weird quirk where there's a new rule that the world champions get a free invite or something. Well, I can't legislate for that. They are not getting into it due to their league position. That's a fact. In fact, I'll bet you my house they're not getting into it based on their league position. They're done out here. And the likes of Pamler are checking out as well. The likes of Pamler have had enough. And unless the only thing that changes their minds is going to get Xavi Alonso and going, right, we're spending 400 million this summer on 5 stars, these players are moving on. They're moving on. Where was Lavia and Moises Caicedo and Enzo and Pamler? Look, all shocking today. By their standards, by their level, nowhere near. And I don't want to hear, but we had more of the ball. Because Forest didn't need the fucking ball, you plebs. Didn't need it. Like Liverpool yesterday. Oh, Terry, man, we had so much of the ball against you guys at Old Trafford because we were 2-0 up in 13 minutes and didn't need the ball anymore. And we countered you to death. And all the chances that came were from us. By the way, Chelsea today, okay, in this game, let's get into the facts of this matter today. Barring the penalty, which again, I'm not even going to talk about the penalty because I've got an opinion on it, but there's a bad injury from it, so I'm not even going to go into it. Let's go and look at the statistics. There was the overhead kick in the last few minutes of the game, okay? Other than that, there was 21 shots in the game. Oh, loads of XG. We had 1.9 XG, Terry. Yes, that's when you got to deep dive it. 2 big chances. It was pop shot, pop shot, pop shot, pop shot, shots from acute angles. There was a good shot from Enzo Fernandez that hit the post. But again, low XG. Why does that matter, you will ask? Well, it matters because it's a low quality chance. There was less than a 2% chance of that going in. And when all you're relying on is low quality chances bending in, you got a problem. You got a major problem. It was shocking on every single level from Chelsea. And they had a lot of the ball, but they did nothing with it. It was a shocker. And all Chelsea fans know this. Chelsea fans know I'm not saying it just for effect. It's the truth. Mo said Chelsea's midfield is better than Arsenal's. They've got excellent midfielders. They're not being trained properly. They're not being coached properly. Look at Man United. From incompetent to competent coach. We've been the best team in the league in that period. That isn't an opinion. That is a fact. Now, is it harder with 2 games a week? Yes, but then do you need a bigger squad? Absolutely. But Chelsea have not had a competent coach since Enzo Maresca left, and they've become a much worse team. The players, though, I still think could work harder. If lucky, we get two big 6 relegations in back-to-back seasons. Where was... Oh, sorry, I already done that one there. Done that one too. Wait, I thought, okay, done that one as well. Just making sure I've done these super chats. Difficult for Chelsea to spend themselves out of trouble. Well, missing out on Europe gives Chelsea a little bit more money to spend because they will come under the new cost restraints of the Premier League, which give you a bigger threshold, but they won't be in Europe. So there's no FFP, meaning they can, for a season, lose a little bit more money. But the problem with that is you have to get it right. Because say you lose a mass amount of money that the Premier League will allow, but UEFA won't, and it doesn't work, and you don't get back into Europe, and the signings are poor again, then there's nowhere else to go. There'll be no more money. They won't be able to do it again. Because then you get into that realms of, Jesus, players that you bought 4 or 5 years ago are still costing you money, and you're selling them at a loss. The players of the last 2 or 3 years are selling on a loss. The income is dwindling if there's no European football. So they can do it. They can essentially go big again this summer. But it's almost a case of you're putting it all on red or black. And if it don't come in, there's very little money left. Remember, they are running up debts that are bordering on a few £billion. And they're growing. They're in a lot of trouble. And every Chelsea fan burying their head in the sand. My question is this. You don't love your club. You must hate it. did say during pre-season they would be poor this campaign. You did, Seb. You did. And I've already held my hands up on it. I got it massively wrong. I thought Chelsea would be close to the league title race for large parts of the season. Now, I think if they would have given Enzo Maresca more support and got behind him, and even if they'd have said, do you know what, in January, we're going to go and buy you a bit of experience. We're going to go and get you Semenyo. We're going to go and get you a Gahey. I'm using them as examples. City might have pipped them to those players. He would have stayed. And I don't think they'd be anywhere near this mess. I think they'd be in the top 4. I think they'd have had a much better campaign. By the way, they still might win it. I still think Chelsea are going to win the FA Cup, by the way. I think City are going to rotate heavily. And I just think Chelsea, it's going to be one of those FA Cup finals where the team you don't expect to win wins it. But it is a disastrous season league-wise. There is no doubt about it. It's been a shocker on every level, as I would say. They celebrated losing to City. Well, that's also the crazy part. You know, maybe this is a football gods thing. Maybe this is the football gods saying, do you know what? You're going to celebrate losing. There's no money. There's a little bit of money still that guys could spend. But it would just mean going into more debt. But you've got to get it right, is the point I'm making, because you've probably got one more. But what you need is for it to work, you need to get back in the Champions League, start winning trophies again, and it needs to be 3 or 4 sustained years in the Champions League minimum. The problem is, if you get that wrong and you do another 300 million and the players are just bums, you're fucked. You're really, really fucked. Terry, Chelsea fans will still keep going to games whilst leaving early, as if that's going to do anything. Lol, like I said before, relegation next season. Well, there are a lot of Chelsea fans that think they're going to be relegated next season. They think they're going to go down. There's a lot that believe that. There's a lot that think that. And there's many that believe it's plausible. Again, I'd like to get your opinions on it. I'd like to get your views on this. Players don't want to be there. Well, that's the other way of them also spending money, though. Because if they were able to cash in on Palmer, cash in on Enzo, again, it depends how long they had Enzo for now. It's been, 4 years, 3.5 years? So they probably owe about 40 to 45 million on him. So they got 100 mil, they'd make about 60 million of profit based on what they owe. Palmer would be a lot more. They make a lot more profit on Palmer. They probably owe nothing on him. Again, they got 80 or 90 million for him, 100 million for him. So there are players they could sell to raise cash to reinvest, but then you're not necessarily moving the needle on the squad. You're just buying to replace the stars you already have. So are you improving that depth? The answer is maybe not. And there's a lot of question marks over Palmer now as well. I love Palmer, but there will be a lot of clubs going 100 million. 100 million. You sure? Doesn't create as much anymore, doesn't score as much anymore, had big fitness issues. There are question marks there. And even if you really rate him and you think he's great, that ain't the story you're going to spin. If you're Man United right now and you want Palmer, I'd be leaking to every journalist imaginable the worries and concerns you have over all these problems with him. Even if behind the scenes, and it's why fans sometimes have got to play the game a bit when it's your club. Even if behind the scenes we're looking at the underlying numbers, we've got good due diligence now, and they're basically saying that the guy's just checked out, but he's still an amazing player. We have to play it like we don't believe that. Again, you've got to try and drive that price down. But that's just me. This here from North says Palmer is a... Well, sorry, what does that say? I'm going to make this writing a bit bigger so I can read it properly. Palmer is and was an average player. Ask Pep. Caicedo has chickened out tackling after many red cards. Happy Guna from Canada to see cheats being found out. See, I don't think Palmer is an average player. I think Palmer's a really good player. I think he's playing in a really average team at the moment with a shocking coaching staff. And I'm not blaming McFarlane. He's not a first team coach. I've heard he hasn't even got his badges. I've read somewhere he hasn't even got the right badges. So that's massive. They're a poorly coached and poorly run football club. These are just the facts. Chelsea doesn't deserve Champions League. Of course they don't. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Drop me out anyone who thinks they deserve it. They are nowhere near it. In terms of deserving it, I'm talking here. Shocking. Shocking on every level. What top player will want to go to Chelsea this summer? Well, look, I won't play those games. So you know me. I don't You know that the famous Michael Jackson music video, Thriller, where he turns around and he looks at the girl he's talking to and sort of says, I'm not like other guys. Right? Do you remember that famous thing? I'm not like other guys. Remember that line? Is it I'm not like other guys? What does he say? I'm not like other guys. Is that what he says? Thriller. What's the line? Yeah, I'm not like other guys. That's it. I'm not like other guys. I'm a bit like that when it comes to certain footballing opinions. I could do things for the gram, I could do it for TikTok and go viral, but I wouldn't be representing myself correctly. Chelsea can still attract quality players. Not every quality player, but they can. The plan's right. They turned around and went for, who should I say? Tchouaméni. I know I don't necessarily say Enzo's going, but they go, we want Tchouaméni. I'm just using him as an example. They want Tonali. They want Anderson. They said, listen, we're going to buy you Anderson, but look, this is our list. We're also going to buy Osimhen. We're also going to buy, we are going to break the world record for goalkeepers and buy David Raya from Arsenal. And we're going to go and get Xavi Alonso as the manager. I'm just using these as hypotheticals, so don't get marred down by the names I used. That could convince players to come as an example. Chelsea is still a massive club. They still have Paul. The problem is where there's an element of truth to what you're saying. If you try and sign Elliot Anderson, but you tell him all the other signings are Garnacho level, he's going to reject you. So it isn't they don't have the pull. It's that they're not pitching correctly. There's a fundamental difference between those two things, in my view. But yeah, I'm not like other guys. I don't do what everyone else does on social. Don't you find it a bit boring now that most content creators all do the same thing? Like you almost know they're either going to sit on one side of the aisle, but you kind of know what the opinion is going to be. Does that make sense? And you've noticed that now a lot of content creators also, they post something on a Monday, on Tuesday say the opposite, just so they get clipped up. Have you kind of noticed that? It's kind of strange. True Blue says, stop, Terry. This ownership is not operating like that. But that isn't the point. It's not the point I'm making. No disrespect, True Blue. I love the fact you're here. Thank you, brother. But what you're saying is irrelevant. Someone says Chelsea can't attract top players. They can, but have to behave in a certain way. What I've then gone on to say, if you listen, is they're not behaving that way, so we'll get rejected. But it isn't about Chelsea innately not having Paul. It's about the operation. And I think when we're talking about football, we've got to start getting, there needs to be more specificity in what we speak on rather than just generic terms of Chelsea can't sign players. So that's a bit of a mad comment, you know? Why, what, how? We need to go into the detail. We absolutely need to do that. Terry, even Luis Enrique won't fix this mess at Chelsea. No manager fixes Chelsea, by the way, by themselves. Not one coach. You could literally get Fergie with the assistance of Pep and Klopp, with Jose putting down the cones, right? And you wouldn't improve this Chelsea team without better investment. These are just the simple facts. They need better players, higher quality players. Without doing that, it's done. It's finished. It's like The Sopranos. It's over. Recruitment is so important for football clubs, and theirs has been poor. That's how they have to act, not how they've been acting. And I agree, Marshall. That's what they can do. Remember when Terry told Dan that Arsenal is 20-plus points away from Chelsea, and he couldn't comprehend the facts? Look, in fairness, I don't quite know when I said that. But my prediction at the start of the season was that Chelsea would finish 10 to 12 points behind Arsenal. And listen, I'm not not like other guys. I've got to get that meme and just play it, haven't I? I've just got to get that meme, I think. We've got to find that meme, because only if you probably knowing the Michael Jackson's camp, that'll get copyright strikes and I'll take all my revenue. Big up MJ. But I'm just going to play it every time. I'm not like other guys. My prediction about Arsenal finishing ahead of Chelsea is wrong. I said it'd be 10 to 12 points. It looks more like 30 points. I can't claim victory when I'm so far away. People that says that Chelsea would finish ahead of Arsenal are closer, are like, I'm nearer to their guess than I am what actually is happening. But what's shocking about this from a Chelsea point of view, and this isn't me claiming I was right, is not only are they nearly 30 points behind Arsenal, Man United are nearly 20 points ahead of them. This is how disastrous it is. It's disaster on every level. Chelsea doesn't have the revenues for those high earners. For example, they earn 584 million in 24-25, whilst Real Madrid earn 1.2 billion. No, this is why I mean debt's got to be created. The only way they can. This is why it's a case of, do you create more debt, buy the experience, get back into the champ? And this is the irony, right? If you would have bought 18 months ago, instead of 50%, 60%, 70% of the players you've bought in the last 18 months, if you'd have bought Semenyo, Guehi, Donnarumma, Victor Osimhen, you would have spent less on salaries in totality and on transfers, and I reckon you'd be in the Champions League 2 years running. The revenues would therefore be higher and would pay for this. Chelsea actually have paid one of the highest wage bills in the last 2 years. When you actually look at money spent and salary spent, agent fee spent, Chelsea are up there with everybody in the Premier League. It's because they've got such a mass amount of people they have to pay, and it isn't working. So there is money there. Sell a lot of these youngsters, even if you're just breaking even, save up all their, the $5,000 a week, the 10, the 20, and you put it in the experienced players and you try and get back into the Champions League. Without doing that, it's going to be very, very hard, my friend. Sorry, I already done that super chat about Palmer as well. Right, I'm going to bring the panel on now. We've got Judge Mo, we've got Elijah, Andrew Barnes, Winter Surfer, Kwess is backstage as well. Let me get my earphones in. This will be an interesting one. Oh, one more defeat, and we can drink 7-Up on the show. That'd be a good one. I'm going to scratch my head. Right. Let me remove this super chat. Thank you for everyone that sent them in. So we got Elijah here. Oh, happy bank holiday, Elijah. Kwess is here with me. Surfer's here. Barnesy's here. Judge Mo is on the show. Welcome back, gentlemen. I'm going to go to you first, Elijah. Another game where you concede 3 goals, 6 defeats on the bounce, and the Champions League dream this season is done, dusted, and finished. Break it down for me, my friend.
Well, I've been saying this in January, Terry. I've been saying it. And people think that, that I don't back the club. I'm being too negative. Now look, for me, Terry, we're not getting Europe next season. The only way we're going to get it is if we're in the FA Cup. That's the only way. And if we play like this in the FA Cup, Terry, we're not winning it. So for me, I'm just lost for words, man. Like, honestly. And for me, I can't blame this defeat on Callum McFark because he put a very strong lineup, apart from Tosin. Like, for me, it's just the players, man. Like, apart from Jesse Derry and maybe João Pedro, everyone else was just absolutely awful, man. Absolutely awful. Like, you look at our fans today, all of them was just shocking. Kukueya, Gusto, especially, like, why on earth do you have to do that, concede a penalty and just pull down a shirt? Like, what was that? And then, Chalobah, awful for all of the 3 goals today. Caicedo, poor. Like, everyone was just poor today. Like, Robert Sanchez, the goals we conceded, I can't blame this on him. He has no chance of saving them. But to be honest with you, Terry, I've been saying this for weeks, for months, for years, and it's just getting to a point where honestly, I don't know where we go from here, but if we do not sort this mess out, I've been saying it to you, Terry, and I've been saying it every single time. We're going to be, maybe not next season, but 2 or 3 seasons time, we might be closer to relegation zone or actually be in it, because we're behaving like Tottenham right now. We're behaving like them. And also, yeah, our next home game, by the way, which is the final one, is against Tottenham. And I said to you, Terry, yeah, that Tottenham are going to be us at Stamford Bridge, and he said no to me. Now, if you look at Tottenham, yeah, they're playing better football, they're getting wins, yeah, and they're in a better form than us, yeah. Tottenham have got 2 wins in a row in the Premier League. When is the last time we've done that? Because I can't remember the last time we got back-to-back wins in the Premier League. I honestly can't. So that game against Tottenham, I should be confident, but that game, I ain't confident in that game. So, it's just that, honestly, like, for me, the FA Cup is the one is so important, man, because if we do not win that, then we're just simply done at this moment in time. We're simply done. And Mo, like I said to you, mate, that after the Burnley game, I said to you, yeah, that nobody's scared of Chelsea. that nobody is scared to play Chelsea. You said no. Well, look at this, Mo. Nottingham Forest weren't scared. Man City, Everton, Brighton, those teams that beat us weren't scared, and now you see it. So listen, if I don't expect any apology from everyone, but I've been telling you guys, not be scared of Chelsea. We are no longer we are absolute joke. We've just embarrassed ourselves week in and week out. Not again, we conceded 3 goals. Like, the only good thing is that we scored, but that doesn't mean anything because we've lost. And honestly, man, it's gonna take a while before I see my club going back to where it was, because we're finished, bro. From top to bottom, we are finished. And yeah, man, it's just.
Can I ask a question, Elijah? Just simple question to the panel and everyone. Is Chelsea now worse than Man United were last season?
I mean, to be honest with you, no, because Man United finished 15th. So
what do you say about Man United? Okay, hold on, stop then. So how is Man United going now?
Well, they're doing better than us, because look at what they did.
I'm not comparing them to you. I'm just asking in general. How do you say Man United? How do you think Man United are doing now? Like, now, forget
they're doing. No, I mean,
they're doing all right, right? They're doing okay, right?
Because let me tell you,
but they were worse than you last season. When, like, last season, Man United compared to Chelsea this season, it's worse. Right? 15th. You're like on the brink of relegation. Like, your players are not good enough. Like,
I think the difference is, Mo. I think the difference is there is almost no belief amongst Chelsea fans that they're going to go out and sign Cunhas and Mbumos, and they're going to have a good enough window to then jump back up to that next level.
Smart answer. That's a smart answer.
That's what I'm saying.
Chelsea fans don't believe they're going to go and sign a manager of the right level to take them back. Now, some do.
But that's not true, though. That's not true. Because logically, okay, I am not.
Mo. But it is true that that's what some Chelsea fans believe. Now,
okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, they believe that Chelsea fans. Okay. I get your point, but the reality is, guys, we are not. None of us is connected to Iqbali, right? Only Matisse, probably, and the rest of us. But my point is, as of now, Chelsea are linked to Areola, if I'm not mistaken. That's number 1 choice, and Xabi Alonso. So these managers basically are a different direction of where Chelsea are now. So the indications are these owners might be looking to change the direction. And if Chelsea change the direction, which is what Terry alluded to, is that Man United go out and buy the Cunhas and Mbuemos, and they are linked to the Chouamenis. You know what I mean? So that means Chelsea are not in a worse place than Man United. It's logical.
But the difference,
the problem is it's doom and gloom. Let's be honest. It's doom and gloom now, because Terry said it in the monologue. I was listening in the background. He said, Palmer is not interested. These guys are not interested in what's going on. Why? You literally have a coach that all of them know that you don't have to play for. They know that they only know that only one thing is going to care about it. We're going to play the FA Cup final, we're going to medal, and then we'll see who's going to be the coach next season. We're going to decide. But now they're stepping on the pitch. Malo Gusto is lazy, right? But you know why he's lazy? Because he doesn't care. He doesn't want to put in the effort. Because nobody cares at Chelsea anymore. Because Europe is out of the way, and the coach is not. I don't have to impress this coach. I know that within a month or something, I will have a new guy coming in, and now I'm going to decide my future then. Nobody's interested, guys. It's doom and gloom, yes, but no one is interested at Chelsea.
Well, I hear you on that. Andrew Barnes, like Gusto was a great example made there by Max. It was one of my questions to you on the panel is, when you look at that penalty he gave away, it just feels another one of the big issues at Chelsea that was highlighted again today is laziness and ill discipline. Because pulling that shirt in that way, again, it's been so common this year for you guys to give away stupid penalties, stupid red cards. Sometimes you've been in good position, sometimes you've already been losing. But it just felt another lazy, ill-disciplined moment.
No, I agree with you. And like, I mean, we've seen this with Dilab, with Caicedo. We've seen this with like Gusto, like we saw today. And like we've seen that these players, I don't know if what's happening with the, like, you know, the Cobham, the coaching, what's happening there, what's the message that these guys are getting at halftime, but it feels like there's no cohesion. For me, this project is already dead I'll tell you why. Because if you're breaking records that your team has not broken in a bad way since 30 years, since 100 years, you know that you're not going the right direction. You know that something is wrong. So the only way that something can change is that this ownership takes onus and says, hey, we messed up, we did the wrong thing, we tried something, we tried this, buy young players, develop them, and sell them for higher prices, and then build a core around that. Clearly it's not worked, and clearly there's not, the leadership has not come through. And I think I said this in one of the streams earlier, that most of these leaders, whenever you see their interviews, they talk about how they want to show it on the pitch and not so much speak. And that we need some kind of leadership that actually also has a voice, not just with action, because action is important, but you also need a voice. You need somebody to get these guys. And today, like you said, Mo, there's no interest, there is no reason to impress McFarlane. There is no reason to do it. So why will anybody listen? But imagine if you had a John Terry, a Thiago Silva in that dressing room. You better impress that captain, otherwise you're not going to play. Because that captain has that kind of pull in that team, and he will decide who goes in front, who plays. He decides all of that. And so the thing is, today I think that this Chelsea project has I mean, I have to accept it as a Chelsea fan, because it just is painful to watch these guys play every game, and it's getting worse and worse. And the most annoying thing as a fan, because I don't know how it is, I've never been to London, so I cannot speak from that experience. But when I watch these games, I watch YouTube videos of Cobham trainings that have more atmosphere than the game I watched today. It was so dead. I'm the only noise is coming from the Forest fans, which is, I mean, it makes sense because they were playing well, they were counter-attacking us, and all those stats they're talking about, we had more possession, we had more, it means nothing if we can't convert it. And we have, and I was one of the guys in the beginning of the season talking about how we have the quality, the technicality on the pitch who can convert. Something told me today that Palmer, when he got that penalty, he will miss it because of the time taken and all that. He will miss it. It's just that season, or that moment in the season for us, where this ownership came in. They said that they want to do different things. They want to do things that were not done by the previous ownership. We've already changed so many managers. They're buying, or they're sort of replacing people without any real strategy. Or if there's a strategy, it's failed. It's completely failed. It's not working. So if you're asking me about the indiscipline, it's the way they've sort of built this from the top, from the managing, or from the manager, from the sporting directors, from the kind of players or senior players they try to buy. There is no real leadership. There needs to be some discipline that's practiced behind the scenes.
I hear that.
For it to happen on the pitch.
Barnsley, I hear that. I think you certainly need it, and you're seeing that on the pitch today. Kwess, from your point of view, mate, today, it was the last opportunity really to keep winning and push that for that Champions League position. But it just felt, I mean, literally from the first whistle, you weren't at it. There was no real quality out there. Why do you think it was so bad again today? What do you put today's poor performance down to?
Probably a number of things. Probably a bit of, a lack of fight, lack of desire. Probably also being naive. I mean, you come into a game like that, you probably, you're expecting that, okay, you're going to come up against a tough Forest side, but you probably think you're going to get the rub of the green. And then you start off the game and you're, within 2-3 minutes, you give away a sloppy goal. That's fine. You can work back into the game after that. But unfortunately, then we've seen what we've seen under the last two managers, which is players making brain dead decisions, which is something, unfortunately, that's very difficult to fix. You can't pay players to make better decisions. You can recruit better, and that's true. And you can also hope that your players are smart enough to make better decisions in those moments, or you can find a coach that will hopefully drive into them enough pride that they, as I've been said already, that they won't want to make decisions like that. Unfortunately, since Gusto's come in to the club in general, he's never been a great defender. That I can accept, right? But that decision to give away that penalty is actually what killed the game. If they don't get that penalty, it's still 1-0. I think we can work into it because we were working back into it. And then you say again, to be fair, even at half time, the young boy goes down. You've got a little bit more to fight for now because you want to fight for him too. If Palmer scores that pen, the game is probably back on. Unfortunately, too many brain dead decisions in important parts of the game. For me, I'll say it now. Thank you, Enzo Fernandez. But for me, your time is done. Your time is up. If you can get 80 mil plus, you sell him now. I don't know a captain that can't arrive in the box before his out of position left winger. There was 2 or 3, maybe even 4, 5 occasions in that second half, especially when Forrest on the counter, João Pedro was back in the box before Enzo Fernandez. You can't be my captain. So there's that. We've already spoke about Gusto. Not a lot needs to be said. Sometimes with seasons like this, a couple things can go wrong and then you can save it. You can't have everything go wrong. Like you can't have your world-class left back, which we all defended him. So I can't act like I didn't say that about him. We can't have a world-class left back in Cucurella decide that he wants to offer himself for other clubs and then come back and play rubbish. And if we're being really honest, he's played rubbish for the last 4, 5, 6 games. And I don't care who the manager is. You have to have personal pride. If you don't have personal pride to work hard for yourself, that's a you issue. So we've got that issue. The midfield three is not working. It was in the FA Cup. I don't know what happened today. For me, again, I still think that with the players that we have in this squad, you're either going to choose to run things through Enzo or you're going to choose to run things through Palmer. I would bank more on Palmer, the younger, fitter, smarter, more intelligent player, better at creating. So I think this way of playing is not going to consistently get us positive results when we have those 2 guys on the pitch, because both of them want to run the play and it just don't work. Caicedo off it today, but I don't know if he could have done any more. He done his best not to lose his head completely. And then you've got Lavia, who stunk out the place. Again, another player who, for me, if you can get 30, 40 mil for him this summer, send him on his way. When we're losing games, when he's out injured, the guy's posting himself playing Call of Duty. No disrespect, but it's just not for me. There needs to be a level of professionalism. And when it comes to my club, I've always seen it.
Why does it need to be a level of professionalism, Kwess? I love you, broski, but why? Why
Because
if the club gets McLaren and if the club gets some, why? Okay, you're asking the man, you're asking the players to have a level of professionalism when the club is not even professional. I'm sorry. If the head of the, bro, we have a say in Arabic, right? Yeah. Basically, if the head is dancing, don't like you cannot blame the guys behind him who is like putting like whatever, the drumming, whatever. Basically, if the whole club didn't even bother to get someone to fix the ship now, they knew when they hired McLaren guy that most likely they aren't going to get Champions League football, because there was a saving time, right? Like 5 games, you could have got a manager that will win you 4 games, then you will be in contention for real to make Champions League, especially with Aston Villa fumbling like this. Why are you asking the players to be serious? If the board got McLaren and basically they told everyone, listen, it's a write-off, we maybe win the cup, we maybe not. I think you're harsh on the players, to be honest, because I guarantee you, if this guy Caicedo, if Cucurella, if these guys, most of the players, if they're playing for something, they would definitely do like more than this, right? You are telling it. Like,
I can
you
agree
get the
with
point,
you.
right?
I can agree with what you're saying, but so what I'll say is this is, so being a Christian, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, whatever you do, work it as if you're working unto the Lord. So the whole principle behind that is you work as if God can see what you're doing at all times. It's not because you like your boss or don't like your boss, like the job or don't like your job. You do the best you can do because that's what you have in front of you. For me, there is no space, no time, no world where I can accept downing tools because you're upset. At the end of the day, you are a man. You have a job to do. And if it was women's football, you are a woman. You have a job to do. If it's academy football, you are a boy. You have a job to do. There is no room, especially in the world of elite sports, right? In football, where you can allow for players to think it's okay to say, I don't like what's going on ahead of me, so I'm going to just not be professional. Okay, well, then what you're essentially saying is no club should actually ever trust you. If you're not going to be professional when things are difficult, why should we trust you to be professional when things are good? That to me is a distinct lack of maturity and for me, a distinct lack of mentality, which I've called out now for a couple of weeks. I said it's
But that
too
happens all
easy
the
for
time.
us.
Kwess, you
It
know
might-
that happens in
it-
football all
listen,
the time.
I hear you, Mo, but what I'm saying is
People don't
is-
believe in plans.
But
People
Mo,
don't
Mo,
believe in
let-
tactics.
Mo, let me
Kwess,
just
yes,
land this,
fine.
please, right? Because history will tell you when you start giving players more power than managers and clubs, things always go south. Players also understand while you are working for a club, you are also a commodity. While you work for this club, you serve and sacrifice for this club. There is no room for you to say, I'm sad, therefore I will not perform. You might feel that, but as a mature human being, you need to be able to drive yourself and motivate yourself to work hard regardless of the situation. Much like, and if anybody disagrees with me, that's fine, but much like if one of us Chelsea fans was not to turn up here for the panel today, the chat would be saying, look, they bottled it. They ain't got heart. If we would be questioned about our defense of our football club when we don't get paid, much more should these players be questioned when on the pitch you still have the opportunity after 90 minutes to get a result. And for me today, whether coaching is bad, whether the manager's not right, whether the owners have made bad decisions in the past, and we know they have. This is why I say this conversation is steering away from what the actual truth is here. Yes, we do have some players that are not of the right quality. But then as you saw today, João Pedro is running for 90 minutes in and out of possession. He has every right to down tools. He's scoring a bicycle kick after 90 minutes because that is who João Pedro is. The issue here is these players are not just not good enough, potentially. There's also too many of them that distinctly lacked the right mentality to play for Chelsea. The lap on the third goal, you can go back and watch it yourself. The ball goes into the middle, centre-back's got it. The lap presses like he's going to press, but he's just pressing to give the appearance of pressing. He doesn't want to work hard. The ball goes past him to the right, goes right down the channel, and they end up scoring another goal. This is what I mean. How can Jesse Derry come on and get a better reception than Garnacho has all season? Now, there's multiple things to do with that, but it's because
Garnacho's not the example to use here, to be honest.
No, he's a great example because there's also the sense that Garnacho has tried to apply himself, but then when things have got difficult, he hasn't been applying himself the same way. It's not just Garnacho to blame. I'm only saying that because I've defended him. Somebody like Jesse Derry can get that love because he's applying himself far more than players around him. So when I'm looking at the squad today, I'm going, who actually performed? Chalobah might have been poor for the first goal, but I won't hold him really for the other two. Yeah, he just maybe should track the R&E run a little bit. But for the ball to even get there, for that ball to go across, is diabolical in the first place. I'm looking at Chalobah, I'll let you off. Colwill, I'll let you off. Caicedo, I'll let you off. João Pedro, I'll let you off. Jesse Derry, I'll let you off. And that's it. That's not good. That is not good. So this is why I don't want to. This is why I often don't like having this conversation again and again and again and again about BlueCo. They've put players on the pitch. At this point, it is up to the players to decide if they want it. If they don't want it, cool. You want to go to Madrid, you want to go to Barca, you want to go to whoever, you go. I'd rather have my club back and play 20 and have a squad of 21, like 18-year-olds that are younger who want to be at this club and want to play for this club with heart. I'd rather lose every game that way than have this squad. Because Gusto's issue today, yeah, if you want to pull back, sorry, I know I'm going on a little bit about the game, but it's important to say, when we talk about mentality, does anybody remember the game it might have been like 5-6 Gusto's on the left-hand side or right-hand side in the final third, and instead of him clearing it, he does a Ronaldo chop or some silly skill move. This is what I'm talking about. Managers can't coach that out of a player. If you've got Alonso going to Real Madrid saying in the dressing room, I thought I wasn't here to coach babies. That's Real Madrid, who have some of the highest standards in world football. Then we can't say that it won't happen here. It's happening here live in front of us. This isn't just a recruitment thing. It's mentality.
But Kwess, what a manager can do, like what Pep would do, even if you performed well, if you try all those antics on the pitch, he will sit you down on the bench the next game.
I hear you, Andrew. But then you know what the issue was today? The lap comes on. We don't even have another attacker.
I agree, and that's why I think this project is failing.
And so who are you going to drop these players for? Let's be honest.
And that's why I think this project is failed, and that's where your point is, where the power is going to the players. And I think that this mentality there are very few players in this team, which I've seen, and I've seen other footballers like Cortes, when they talk about how this position of playing this game is a privilege to them. They have that sort of humility to know that, hey, not everybody gets to do this. We're already in a place of privilege.
100%. 100%. It's too easy at Chelsea. Yeah.
These guys. They feel entitled to be there, and some of these players, when I watch them play, they feel they that they have to wear this badge because of their value, because, and like, that's not right. That, like, for me, these guys need to like buck up. The management, whoever, the coaching staff need to like figure it out and put the players, like you said, the guys who only want to play. They want to play for that badge. They deserve it because they're proving themselves. And there must be some reason Harto didn't start today, right? Because the guy was doing well and then he didn't start. You have Tosin starting, and I'm like, I don't know why Tosin still in this
The
club.
reason why, Andrew, yeah, is because once Rosenior left, McFarlane said, "I'm resetting. We're going back to factory settings. We'll go back to what worked for us in the past, which was Maresca's way of playing football." But that's also forgetting Maresca struggled this season. This is why I said I had no love lost for him. At the start of the season, we were 5 games in, and people were questioning whether we were going to do anything this season, because it was like we'd drawn to Palace, we'd beat West Ham, but then who was it again? I think we had like 2 or 3 games we struggled. I can't even remember the fixtures now, but we were in a place where we're going, this is not looking good. For me, again, another thing on top of the mentality is also this way we're playing, this positional play, yeah, where we're going side to. We didn't see this in the FA Cup. So what?
Exactly.
So this is why I'm saying it. Yeah, but this is why I'm saying that can't be coaching, because we had the same manager then. So this is an application issue. These players are not willing to apply themselves when things get difficult. That for me is not on.
Kwess, I do. Welcome to the show as well, Kojo. Winter Surfer, from your perspective, when you look at today, is this about application now? Is it, or do you think this is more about the players not being good enough? Combination of the two? Like, where do you stand with this? Because 6 defeats in a row, it's like the 3rd or 4th game in your last 5 or 6 where you've conceded 3 goals as well. These are batterings you're taking almost weekly, not just defeats. Where you at with it, mate? We can't hear you. Your mic ain't working.
How
It's
about
not
now?
mute.
Is that better?
There we go.
There we go. I think I spoke to KJ last week. I said I'd get my answer about if this is like they've changed their attitudes or something like that. I'll exclude 4 players today: Jesse Derry, Colwell, Santos, and João Pedro. The rest are all fucking shit. All of them. All of them are fucking shit today. And Cole Palmer, you are a busted. You are 18-month wonder. That's what you are. You're a disgrace. Sorry, Kwess. I wouldn't put it through Palmer. Palmer looks like a giraffe on roller skates with the ball at his feet. He can't do anything. Honestly, he's terrible. You could just look at them. It's amazing. You'd think they'd be fighting for a cup final place. This lot. You think they'd be fighting for something that at the end? I want to play at Wembley. I want to win a cup final. They're not fighting for anything. They just strolled around like, I don't know who just said it, like entitlement. Like they are doing us a favour by playing for us. That's what they just stroll around the pitch. Gusto, oh my god! I mean, his brain. You can tell he hasn't got a brain because his brain doesn't say get goal side of Awoniyi. It says pull the shirt of Awoniyi. That's what we're saying. Or don't track the runner. Cucurella is just off the ball at the moment. He's just getting destroyed. But I just don't know, Terry. It's just, I mean, that was damning. I mean, that was damning at people. I'm surprised it took people 76 minutes to walk out. I'm surprised they didn't walk out from the 3-0, really, when they struck, because that was damning at the end. So many empty seats and not enough people to actually boo the team off at full time because they'd left. It was more than Nottingham Forest fans. I mean, I don't know really. I mean, I don't know really where to go, how to criticise anymore, because it's just rinse and repeat, isn't it? In nearly every performance now. It's not even like differing performances really now. It's just the same. Apart from the FA Cup thing, it's just the same performances. It's 3 goals again, 4th time in 5 games. It's the first time we've lost 6 games. I mean, in 100 years, is it something like that? First time, you know. It's just it rolls and repeat, and I'm just going, oh, forget a new manager in. It doesn't matter what manager you get in if nothing else changes. This whole thing, there has to be sweeping changes, you know. And I don't know if they're going to actually do that. I don't know who they're even going to hire at this point. And the players go, people coming, excuse Paul, if they don't get Champions League, it changes. You're one of the reasons we're not getting Champions League by the way you play. You and the other players. You're the reasons. But it's easy for them because they don't take any ownership because they can just walk off. Well, they'll try and walk off, but they're in these contracts. Try and work off with these contracts. That's the whole point. Who's going to pay for these players at the prices that they're supposed to be? Because they have to. No, but it's like the values aren't. They're not playing up to their values. They're just not. You know, I think I can't believe they're mentally checked out in the league, but they shouldn't have that. They should have to earn the right to play in the FA Cup final. Do you know what I mean? They should have to earn the right now. We should be seeing performances, even if you lose, but performances that say you should be playing in the cup final, and we're not doing it. And the problem is, like Kwess said, look at the squad. Who you bringing on? It's a shame that Derry. It's shameful on those players that Derry in 40 minutes look like he's trying more than those players. All those players nearly combined, apart from maybe João Pedro. And the only reason, and he's still going to get a higher mark for me than most of those players, and he didn't play the rest of the half. You know, he's got taken off of head injury. He literally had to get knocked out to stop playing. It's shameful. That's what it is. It's shameful. I don't blame Robert Sanchez either for any of the goals. None of the goals were Robert Sanchez's fault whatsoever. None of them. And I don't like Robert Sanchez, but none of them were his fault. You know? And by the way, we had 8 days rest and they made 8 changes. They made 8 changes. People haven't said that. They made 8 changes. They were worried about Thursday. Thursday's their bigger game. They took a risk thinking, oh, we might lose here, but we're going to take the risk because we've got a second leg of a European match. And they came here and they didn't even have to do anything. They just strolled around. They strolled around because they earned the right to stroll around. We strolled around for what? Sideways, backwards passing. Honestly, it's just boring as well. It's just boring. That's probably the most egregious thing, that it's boring. It's boring to watch. It's slow. I mean, we've got to be the worst counter-attacking team in the league because we're too slow. We don't counter-attack. Too slow. It's pass it backwards or sideways or take another touch. It's just useless. It's like you said, it's like, I mean, Delap's got more cards than league goals. He's got 3 yellow cards.
He has to go. He actually does have to go. I agree.
I tell you, if he mouthed off the way, if he can turn his mouth enough to referees into application, he'd be okay. If I could take the mindset of João Pedro and put it into these players, I think we'd be fine. You know the way. Honestly, I don't know, and I'm. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't be in Europe because maybe we can sell more players and buy in more players next season. Do you know what I mean? Because you can just have a smaller.
It could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, just once.
It could be a blessing in disguise.
They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it.
I agree. I agree. I think it could be a blessing in disguise because you a bit like what happened to United this season. You might need a manager to come in and not have to worry about anything else but the league. It might be a blessing in disguise to have to reset like this. Because I'll be honest with you, if another manager came in with Champions League football next year, we're going to have the same issue. Because you're going to have to keep that bolster that squad, and you're going to try add 1 or 2 pieces just to bolster out the squad. And then you're going to be playing games where the Champions League means more. So you're going to have to put out your full squad there, then the league is going to suffer again. This is why I say, like, even to be fair with the positional play, yeah? Who said, join me on the dark side? That's dark.
That's quite a
quick AI, you
know.
know.
A flattering picture of me. I'll take that.
That's mad. The first one they sent through, they had Elijah and Kwess with white skin. It was killing me. I was like, bro, we gotta make a few amendments on there, boys.
Yeah, they're using that
Gemini
right there.
That's unbelievable.
Drewski's crazy, bro. Oh no, but hey, serious though. You're right, Andrew. Yeah, one thing is the boring football. Yeah, but I think that boring football. I'll be honest, I think that boring football started under Maresca. But the difference was in our biggest games, or the biggest game under him, he was able to get such a positive result that it kind of like done a 180 on us. Because if we're being really real, yeah, even that first season, maybe we didn't have the squad. Maybe we had worse players in our squad, but our squad was better. When we were second at Christmas and we fell away, it was like, wait a minute, why is he even saying we haven't got the right squad? Then the next season, we're still in that place, and the results were falling off. And I really do think it's down to, you remember that the Europa Conference League final? When Cole Palmer said, I got tired of playing that way, so I just did my own thing. That was the moment I was like, this is worrying, bro. How can you? How can you, Elijah? It's all good, bro. We'll be all right, bro. We'll be all right, man. It's not that bad. Nah, it is that bad, bro. But it'll be all right. But I generally think that we do need a new manager now who's gonna come in with fresh ideas to what the coaching team have done before.
Boring football's all right if you win. Right?
It's all right if you win. Yeah, it's all right if you win.
Exactly.
But the recipe is wrong, isn't it?
Under Mourinho, we did play some boring football, right?
Yeah.
I was part of
Counter-attack,
but we won, right? We won. That's why you could accept it because you win, because you go, yeah, but we won, so it's all good.
Yeah.
That problem is there's no urgency as well. The word urgency doesn't they don't apply to these players.
Yeah, but they've also stopped taking risks.
They only got urgency after they scored.
Yeah, but they stopped taking risks. Like, this is what I mean. Enzo Fernandez first season, yeah. I remember his first season, he was dropping balls over the back line to João Felix, to these man almost every game. I still remember one of his standout performances away at Leicester, bro. The guy created like 2 or 3 clear-cut opportunities, and we were like, whoa, this guy is something else. But they're not taking risks no more. And that's where I'm going, this isn't about management. This is something in your head is going, I'm going to put the break. The one thing I have considered is I know we know about the young players is not a great strategy anyway, but I'm also contemplating, is having this many young players who are also on the precipice of their international teams also a factor? Because I'm looking at some of these players going, it looks like they're going, I don't want to miss out on this summer. So let me not give 120.
You know why it's not about management? Look at the 2 last performances. You know why it's not about management, right? That's why it's not about. That's why it's not about this management. What I'm talking about. I'm not saying that managers don't matter, because they do. Okay?
Of course, yeah, for sure.
I'm talking about it's there. It's application up there. It's the big screen. It's at Wembley. Oh, we're going to be. It's big like Fergie used to call Liverpool big time Charlies. That's when they came to Old Trafford, right? That's what it is. Big. That's what they give a big time Charlie vibes.
I hear that.
What they do. Let's just show up every now and again, or make people forget the past 5 because we're into a cup final, and then they turn up this stinking, Bank Holiday Monday. I mean, it's great for people to spend Bank Holiday Monday watching that shit on the pitch today. I'll tell you right now, honestly, ridiculous.
Kojo, how you feeling?
Sorry.
Bro, how you feeling, Kojo?
Man, tight, innit? Yeah, listen, look, man, it's disappointing to see the boys come out with a result 3-1 like that. Because at the beginning of the game, I can't lie to you, I felt like the energy has shifted for the boys. You know what I mean? I felt like there was a different energy. Maybe this is me just reading into it. Do you know what I mean? But when that first goal goes in, it's back to basics for them. It's back to square one for the boys. The 1-year goal that he scores is due to a lapse in defensive structure. Okay, that is about the lack of leadership and defense, because none of them picked up on it. That's crazy. You know what I mean? This is not a Julio Alvarez who's a little miniature me who slipped in between the two of you. He's at the back post, and neither defender had him. Right? That's a lack of communication between the defenders. Number 1. Number 2, that's them losing sight of their man. Number 3, that comes from a lack of defensive structure and leadership. Okay, and so unfortunately, in this department, we see that first goal go in. For me, I thought that was kind of criminal. The second one, Gusto has done that a few times. He switches off, and then what he does something really stupid. And that's not just about being young. That is actually to do with the fact that you lose concentration, and you're liable to do something stupid. You're one of those players, and I don't know if that will come out of Gusto. That's not an age thing. That's there are some footballers who you've played with before who just do some dumb stuff. You look at them and like, the player's clean on goal, and you're like, just let him go. No, he has to foul him. It's like, bro, what made you think you can get the ball? Why do you need to do it? That Gusto is one of those players. So he may always be one of those kind of players that will always fumble something, make a mistake, a little bit of pressure, and he starts to crumble. He might be that one of those kind of players. Obviously, the third goal, I guess it was onside that they showed it. I mean, I thought it was offside, but then when they showed the replays, the thingy is onside. But I think where Chelsea are now, can I be honest with you? It wasn't long ago we were 10th. Like, people, if you haven't watched Chelsea long, you're sweating in your pants because you're thinking to yourself, "Raw, this Chelsea's mad, bro. We are higher than we were out." There was a particular season we came 10th with better players, and I mean they were way better players. Yeah, and that's what happens then. It's what we call down in tools. When players are down in tools, this is what you get, right? Because up until what 2 months ago, these players were looking at least we could potentially be looking at top 4, but they started downing the tools, and I think this happens as well with, unfortunately, when you got inexperienced players, and I say inexperienced in the way of people that have gone the length, right? That have won championships, that have been able to be in, in established teams and been a leader there. What you miss out on is when things are going bad, there's no one to pull them up. Right? There's no one to go in there. Listen, boys, pack it in, get yourself together, let's get back on. There's none of that. Everyone's looking at everyone else to see who's going to inspire them to do this. So actually, the failure isn't just about players being young. They picked players. You have to pick a certain type of player. When you're picking players that have the ability to say, do you know what? I'm not a loser. When things are going wrong, I'm trying to win again. You get me? Yeah. That's why we can talk about Steven Gerrard, even though he didn't win a league title. Because no matter what we can say about Steven Gerrard is, no matter if the chips are down, he's coming through some shape or some form. He's gonna do something. And I feel like we're missing that in a Chelsea team, that they put a few young players together, but they didn't look at the mentality, the mental aspect of a player is important. But I think for the BlueCo, them, they're gonna be here probably for a while. So my thing is, I hope that they're gonna do a good inquiry and look at what needs to change. What needs to change next season. Yes, I know that we might not have Champions League next season. It's not the end of the world. I'm sorry. I know we want to say it's the end of the world. I know we want to cry and say like this is the worst thing that ever happened to Chelsea Football Club. I know we want to make the stats about the fact that we've never lost 6 in a row since 19 whatever. We're actually like 8th. We came 10th one season. We didn't lose 6 in a row. Stats can sometimes be skewed in a particular way that can make it look a certain way. Do you get what I'm saying to you? I'm not saying that we ain't playing bad. What I'm saying to you is, before we start melting down and putting atomic bombs everywhere, let's relax. And let's look at what this board is going to do. I think the pressure should be on the board actually acquiring players in the proper positions that we actually need, and to stop some of the politics that goes on, because some of the politics going on is nonsense. But shout out to Jesse Derry. Unfortunately, he went off. But shout out to Jesse Derry. I think Jesse Derry did something in 40 minutes that the left wingers ain't done all season. Try to dribble past a man. I mean, it's not hard. Try and dribble past a man. It's simple football. I don't know what's going on there. And I know Witness Level was saying that everyone's playing. For me personally, I think Enzo played well. Personally, I think he tried to run his heart out. He tried to make things happen. It didn't happen the way it wanted it to happen, but I think he played. I think he played well. I think he did as best as he could do. You know what I'm saying to you?
Jesse Derry's performance is an indictment to every winger at this club for the past 4 years. That's what it is.
I mean, he's got the opportunity for positive PR, so it was always going to be good. But I hear you. He was good. He was good.
That's the sadness of it.
Yeah.
He did. It wasn't even a half a performance, because he went off like a 40-minute performance of just the tag words, isn't it? Heart. All that. All the buzzwords essentially that people like, especially in English fans like. But the fact that we can pull up is an indictment, actually, of the rest of the wingers. Excuse Esteval from this. Of the other wingers that we've had over the last few years. That's an indictment, really, that he can come in and actually have one of the sadness of this season, of this year, one of the performances of the season. He comes in and does that. That is the whatever you think about the project, it's an indictment on everything at Chelsea at the moment. That's the problem.
But that also comes back to I'll be honest with you, that comes back to the coaching though. I ain't gonna hold you. It's come back to the coaching. Give Jesse Derry probably 2-3 months. He's gonna be running backwards too. If you coach fear, we've coached fear for the last 2-3 years. That's why you're seeing Chelsea the way they are. You've coached fear. And I said this at the beginning of the season when I was talking about how football's changed in England, especially. We've gone to a very systematic type of football. That's why everyone's out of the Champions League. That's why there's only Arsenal left, right? There's only Arsenal left, but we see two of the best teams that we see right now, Bayern Munich and PSG. Whilst they can do system, there's a freedom for the players that are expressive. Let a man do what a man does. You know what I'm saying to you? Someone says, let the jogadores jog. You know what I'm saying to you? Let the man do what the man do. If the man can dribble, let a man dribble. Instead of saying to you, when you get the ball, I want you to come back to me, cycle the ball back into the center and kick it across the place again. And let's go all the way round to the other side and pass it. Bro, we used to see Chelsea drop the ball from, it could be John Terry from back. He will drop a long ball to the right mid. Someone else can drop the ball from this side, long ball here. We've done so many short passes and it looks great on stats that you have this much possession, but we're doing nothing with because it's not penetrative. It doesn't go forward. And I've been saying that all season for Chelsea. That's coaching. That is not the Chelsea thing. That's a coaching thing. And that's where BlueCo can also be responsible about getting coaches who are not going to play this consistent sideways football, because as we can see, it's not worked. Allow footballers to do what footballers do. Not everyone is Pep. And everyone can do a system football. We've got to allow people to be expressive and be free. And I think if next season they can get a manager that can do that, I promise you, it'll be a different story for a lot of these players. And before you talk anything about Palmer saying how dead he is, I want us to be careful. Sometimes we talk about things when you're emotional and you say certain things in a moment. Do you get me? But when these players leave, if they leave Chelsea, they'll end up doing something amazing stuff because they're actually good footballers. They're in a rotten team right now. So
he came out like Terry said, "Oh, if I don't Champions League, it will change." You're one of the reasons for not getting Champions League. Put it on the pitch. You know what I mean? It's been now. He's got no. He had like last season. He had credit in the bank. That credit's gone because we've now got a literally 50-50 split of his time here when he's played well and he's not played well. We're literally at that point.
Though, man.
I think it's fair to hold it. I think it's fair to hold him accountable. It's definitely fair to hold him accountable.
I'm not going to say he's a dead footballer.
No, I would never say he's a dead baller now because I think that's
I want to say dead
harsh.
The injury thing doesn't work now as well because we see him tracking back, we see him running back. So that injury thing is over and done with. I'm not having that whatsoever because it's the application. It's like that. He's got a massive ego. You can tell his attitude stinks right now, and for him to come out and say, "Oh, if you don't get Champions League, it changes." Are you out of your mind? This isn't 23-24 when you can say
that.
It
should.
Well, I'll go back.
As it should.
No, it should.
As it should. If I'm Palmer, I'm saying the exact same thing.
I think what Palmer said is dark though. Kojo, if you really think about it,
I'm gonna say the same thing.
I think if I'm not a Chelsea fan,
if you said it the way he's playing.
It's dark, bro. It's dark.
He's not a Chelsea-born player, so I don't. So his thing is, it is about that. There doesn't need to be loyalty here. I know we want people to be loyal, but the reality doesn't have to be loyalty here.
Nah, Kojo.
Nah. Listen.
No, Kojo. Wait.
That's why I had no beef with.
I get the angle,
Enzo. If you've played good, if you've tried to play your best. If you've tried to play your best and all you're getting from the team is this hogwash ability that we're playing, we just got washed 3-1 by Nottingham Forest. Yeah, I'm going to be saying the exact same things. Yeah, he doesn't have to. His ability will get him into most teams, so he doesn't have to.
Doesn't matter.
Look, I get the angle you're defending it from, Kojo, because you're saying, look, as a player, he's done enough for the team and he can say and do. I hear that, but the issue with that then is that's worse than defending BlueCo. Because then what you're doing is, we're then saying, oh, we'll accept players like acting like we're nobodies. Now, I could accept that if the angle was some of our fans deserve this downfall. Because as I've said in weeks prior, we've been spoiled as a fan base. We've literally won everything. So for some of these Chelsea fans, I wouldn't put Winner 7 all that in there, but for some of these Chelsea fans coming out being like, I can't believe this. This is diabolical. This is the worst. But I don't think you've seen enough of Chelsea to even understand. Like, we've been here before. Is it worse in some ways? Yes. Has it also been worse in other ways in different seasons? Yes, too.
I'm just asking.
My thing is this.
I'm asking Palmer to read the room. Bro.
I hear you. Yes. I do agree with that.
The last few weeks, we've heard a lot about the word reflection, right? These players need to reflect on their performances as well this season. I'm read the room, bro. If it was 23-24 Palmer, I'd go fine, no problem, right? Because he was out of his skin, or even like half of last season. If he said it in December, like last season, I'd go, I totally understand where you're coming from. Not this Palmer. This Palmer is like someone literally kept him in America after that Club World Cup final performance, and this is a body snatching thing right here. This is what it is.
Look, I hear that, Do you know, just my issue would be, this feels a lot like what happened with Bruno Fernandes at United, where I think either Enzo or Palmer is Bruno. And I think it's more likely to be Palmer. And I think if you cut ties with Palmer now,
I'm not saying get rid of him. I'll wait.
You know what I'm saying? But I hear what you're saying. I just think he's uninspired right now because a lot of these players around him are.
For example,
you £1, fuck off.
I'll wait under a new manager. If he's still around and see how he performs then. Because I tell you right now, it's not just him, but he stinks. The whole thing, the playing, his attitude, The way he does everything, it just stinks right now. Okay, it's like you can't say anything bad about some sections of this fan base. If you say something wrong about Palmer, you're like pillaged. You know what I mean? Oh, you know, you said blasphemy or something like that. He hasn't done anything. Like when I hit, you know, it's not like we're talking about Eden Hazard here or something like that. Like we can't say something bad about him. I held fucking Drogba and Lampard. I criticised them, so I'm damn sure going to criticise Palmer the way he's playing. You know,
I'm not saying you can't criticize him. I'm just saying, guys, like I think when you're saying someone's a dead player, I just think I don't agree that. You know what I mean?
Now, the way
And
he's playing
if
like
you,
a dead player.
if you say that he's playing bad, that's different. You didn't. You said he's a bad player. That's different from he's playing bad.
On and off, we're seeing now, roughly now, the time he's been here, we've got half great 23-24 and half of 24-25, essentially, right? And up to now, we've seen fleeting appearances. We probably count them on our hand that he's played well in the last 18 months, right? Maybe less than 10 times he's played well in the last 18 months, right? Overall. But now it's running dry. Next season, if he's here, he needs to step up like something else. And
I
don't think he's going for the World Cup because I don't think he's good enough. Maybe that's good for him. He'll get a rest. Maybe he can recuperate better. He comes back firing, and we'll praise him all next season. But right now, he, along with the rest of them, needs a long self-reflection and read the room of the fans. Don't come out and say that shit to us when you stink it up on the pitch month in and month out. That's just not right, what you said.
My last thing before I pass it over is just to say that for the boys who are saying, like, for instance, Enzo and Palmer, I get why they're saying what they're saying. I'm sorry, football don't have no loyalty. When you decide to switch managers at any drop of a hat, when you decide that you want to change, we suddenly have to lose the administration that we lost. There's no concentration to players. You understand what I'm saying to you? You don't get a choice in that. So the choice of where I'm going to play or whatever, if I see this team crumbling the way they have for the last few years, me too, I'm also talking up and saying, agent, do what you do best, but we've got this place. It's looking like a sunken ship. It is looking like that. I'm not mad at that. I'd rather you be honest. I can get you at the club and get players who want to actually play. You know what I'm saying to you? That's what I want. You know what I mean? That's for me personally.
It's a sunken ship. You can't say it's a sunken ship when these players are putting holes in the boat.
It looks like a sunken ship.
But you were the one driving the
Yeah, you're the one putting holes in the boat. You're the one putting holes in the dinghy right now. You're doing like that. You're sinking the ship. They're part of the problem.
There's only so much one person can do. That's why Steven Gerrard couldn't win a league title. So there's only so much you can do. Let's not pretend as if one player. Let's not pretend as if that you can always change things. Sometimes you can only do so much, and sometimes you got to leave. And sometimes you got to leave.
It's an excellent strawman argument. It's a really good strawman argument. I hear what you're saying.
It's not a strawman argument. What I'm talking about is it's not about the league title itself. I'm saying there's only so much that someone can actually do at a certain point. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So we're seeing where Chelsea is at the moment, and I can understand why there's frustration there. There's been so many different changes that have been going on. You get used to a manager, they get rid of him. You get another manager, they get rid of him. So after a while, a player loses the attachment to that team. Because you switched him so many times.
Yeah,
but it's not. But I'm not saying it's not about him doing anything. What I'm saying to you is he looks at his talent.
We're going round in circles. Overall, Palmer's not playing well. Yeah. Overall, Palmer's not playing well.
I agree.
Bottom line, simple. For his level, Palmer's not playing well. It's that simple.
But David, before I come to you though, because I know you got to do take. How are you, Chesney, our resident BlueCo boy? How are you feeling after today, my friend? Because we haven't seen you for a while. You're now nearly 20 points behind Man United, nearly 30 points behind Arsenal, and you've been one of the biggest advocates of everything BlueCo have done. And we've had a lot of conversations. But every time there's bad news, you say it's not new news. You know, you're a bit of an ostrich in terms of burying your head in the sand. How are you feeling right now watching your team plummet towards mid-table in close to financial Armageddon? Are you more in Kojo's camp where you think this is Chelsea have been here before, we will bounce back? Are you more near Elijah's side of things, which is we're fucked?
No, I get both perspectives. I like the way you frame my question. I appreciate all the context of people don't know who I am. But everyone does know who I am because the last video, I haven't featured here for like 3-4 months. It said, where's Chair's top comment? Very strange. But nice to see everybody back in the building. Nice to see everybody here as well, David as well. Beat yourself. But what I'd say to answer your very loaded question is I am definitely more Kojo Kwess side. Yeah, Terry. I'm not BlueCo in terms of I love everything they do. I don't want to bore everybody with context to why they've changed everything. But factually, this season is the first time we've progressed in the league. Factually. We've actually progressed since we finished 12th to 6th to 4th. So this season, while I'm waiting for the summer, like Kojo says, echo what he said, is to see how they react to failure. Because it was abject failure in the league. So now I want to see how they're going to react to that. Because so far they've been vindicated, despite that we wanted to make signings to win the league and compete. We haven't done that. We've still progressed in the league to a point where people like David have only turned this season. David would say this is a very logical person, right? He would say he knows what he's talking about, right? He would say he watches football. Isn't it, David? You only turn the season based off what? Regression. So I will follow suit.
Based off Maresca getting sacked.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Whether it be regression in the league, Maresca being sacked, i.e. stability being made redundant, I'm going to wait till summer to see if they're going to spin the narrative and do the PR, which we think might happen, or whether they actually will change, which I still believe they will. I made a prediction on our chat, so I'll put it out into the ether. I said that I think Chelsea will either stagnate or regress, which will therefore force them to make changes in the model. And I think that will happen. Even if we win the FA Cup or not, I think that will happen. And that's why I don't think they're as hell-bent as people think they are. The reason why people are BlueCo out is because, like what Terry says, people don't think they will change. I think they will. The reason why is because originally they didn't have this plan. They changed from their original plan to this plan because of said failures. So because these were progressing in the right direction, it was linear at one point. Now I want to see how they're going to react. Now, for example, to answer your question, if they did the same thing and signed the lap-esque players in the summer, and I saw the same kind of results following into Christmas, etc., I'm not going to be sitting here saying, this is great, this is what I wanted to see, etc., etc. I'm going to call it out. And maybe then I'll change my stance. But I need to see the summer. For example, Terry, you would say the same with Man United last season, where in the summer, when they promised you all these signings, and you actually did make them, and now you've progressed in the league, you obviously will have more belief now this summer than you did beginning of last summer. So I'm going to have the same perspective in that regard.
The only slight difference in that, Ches, and you're entitled to your opinion, the only slight difference is I have not been overly critical of Ineos's recruitment at Manchester United. My biggest bugbear with them is they kept Ten Hag when they shouldn't have done. Last summer, I was actually very positive about our summer signings, and I actually believe we've had a lot of success with Ineos's signing so far. It's only really been Xerxes and Ugarte that have been poor signings. The rest I feel have been anywhere between good to sensational. You look at players like our youngsters, like Aiden Heaven, who looks better than every single centre back this season at Chelsea when he's had to come in and play, and he's 19, so it can happen. So I wouldn't. My question and challenge back to you though would be that you backed the kind of big money spending to begin with. You then backed when they changed the approach. You then backed it every time they got a manager wrong. You're now backing them to fix this sort of approach that has gone wrong. What is this the last time you're backing them then? So if they don't get it right this time and next season, whatever their plan is, whatever they do in the summer, if you're sitting 7th at Christmas and you haven't overly improved and you've got another, is that it for you? Will you just be this blue cupboard never going to be good enough? Or will you do an egal when it comes to him and Arteta and find a reason to kick the can down the road again? Or, you know, what will it take for you to admit you were wrong?
Firstly, like I stated in the beginning, this is our first season where we've actually regressed. So we haven't actually had to change a model in terms of regression yet until now. So this would actually be the first time they'll need to rectify the summer. Previous summers before this, there's been 50-50 good signings. The first summer, I don't think anybody really complained because it was their first summer of the rebuild, you could call it. And we actually signed good players. Mudryk, Enzo's in January, for example, but those were the same following season, right? So what you said about needing to rectify, it's going to be the first time we all here on the panel will have to see what happens. The reason why people are staunch on the other side is because they don't believe there will be changes. That's the difference between me and them. That's literally the only difference. If you ask Andrew and David, for example, now, and Elijah, they will tell you, I don't think they would change. If they thought they would change, maybe the same stance as me.
I appreciate that, but that isn't the question. In your speech, what you spoke about is that they had to change from the model because it wasn't working. We all know, sitting here, Chelsea fans, rivals, and anybody that's neutral, that you've employed a lot of the wrong managers to begin with, as example. There have been other mistakes that have been made along the way. Yes, you may argue it's the first time you've gone backwards in terms of the league, but you have called out all those mistakes in the past. I'm asking you specifically because of the way you've come on here when you've been on good runs of form saying, don't ever challenge me. You came on here when you beat Spurs a few months ago, when you were up near the top of the table and said, never challenge my knowledge on Chelsea, never question it. I told you BlueCo were the ones. I told you they would get us to where we need to be. So the reason I'm asking you a very different question to Kojo and Kwess, who are still going to give it a little bit more time, is that you've, even through all their mistakes, You've consistently backed them and gone, they're going to get it right. They're going to get it right. But continuously, outside of winning the Club World Cup, which was excellent and everybody praised it, the vast majority of elements you've backed have gone wrong. You then go, I'm going to give it time for them to rectify the mistake. My question is, which you haven't given a straight answer to yet, is how many more mistakes do you give BlueCo until you admit they're not good enough and you were personally wrong?
Well, we would need to clarify the mistakes. I think in your monologue just then,
you give me an example of what those mistakes would look like for you to go.
You said a lot of stuff. You actually said a lot of stuff there.
Example, not me. So tell us what it would. Because David was backing them, and then after they did what they did to Maresca, they brought in Liam Rosenior. David went, "I've got it wrong." So that was the straw that broke Camel's back. What's the straw that's going to break your back?
The main mistake to me.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sorry, Terry. Sorry.
Hey, let me ask you. Questions put me off.
Hey, yo.
Sorry, man.
Hey,
I had no composure for that.
It's just Terry said it with full confidence, and I was with him, but it's just I've reset it in my head again.
KJ, make sure you clip that, KJ. Yeah, clip that, KJ.
I didn't say blow his back.
No, yeah, you didn't. It's sorry, guys. My bad. Go on, Ches. My bad.
No, but thank you for that. Because Terry won the man monologue. I actually don't know half. I'm trying to remember what Terry said. He said, "What's the thing that would make you go BlueCo?" I think basically him is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and you tried to defend. I've got to give you an example. So you tell us now what has got to happen for you to go, I was wrong. Tell us.
Worst form than this next season. No trophies won. No finals. Not being competitive in these trophies, etc. As far as I'm concerned, haven't we made like 4 finals?
Wait, Ches, sorry, I've got to hold you off on this. So we have to be in a relegation battle for you to go.
Did I say that? Did I say that? Did I say that?
Because Ches, in order to be in worse form,
David, is that a question or a statement?
Right now, we're getting relegated. Ches,
David,
we were on Ches. No, Ches, don't do this. Don't do this to me.
You're
Ches,
buffering.
We're friends. Don't do this to me. 3 months ago, we were on 40 points. We've got 8 points in like 3 months, bro. If we carry that on next season, we're getting relegated.
You're very meticulous, David. My wording was terrible. I don't mean form in terms of the last 6 games. I'm talking about in the league overall being how we're in the league right now, 10th. That's what I'm talking about, David. I'm not talking about this run where we've lost 6 in 6. Because if you do that for 15 games, you could go down. I get what you mean. I'm more talking about, to answer Terry's question, which is very loaded, chat. Very loaded. To be specific, Terry,
it wasn't loaded. It wasn't a loaded question. It was asking you to create the content.
You don't let me answer it.
Hang on, because you say something that isn't true on my show, so I'm going to stop you. It's not a loaded question where you're stuck in a corner and can't answer it. I asked you to give the examples and the context. If you notice one thing I've done, I haven't even responded to what you've said. You've given an answer and I'm going to leave it there. That's the opposite of loading a question. The reason it feels loaded to you is because I had to ask it in 4 or 5 different ways for you to give a straight answer because your ego is too fragile to sometimes admit that you were wrong about something, Ches. That's your problem.
Terry, you're on a monologue again. You're talking about feelings. I'm giving you facts. My responses, you're talking about feelings. I'm telling you, we need to be in worse form in the league than this for me to be BlueCo out. Because like I said before, I've been to 4 finals. We're still competitive in these trophies. We might even win an FA Cup this season and still make Europa League. So if that was to happen, and you even predict that will happen, Terry, I've had a terrible league position. I've lost to a potential team to win the Champions League in PSG, and I won an FA Cup in my terrible season. In my 2 terrible seasons, I've won 3 trophies.
Well, last season wasn't a terrible season. You had a bad period in the season.
Not from our perspective, but like rivals looking 2 billion spent.
But get rivals not being nonsensical. But this is still a poor season, and you might call it a very good season, even if you. I do think
overall good season. I'm talking about trophy wise.
But it is still a poor season. And the point is, Ches, you can go on about you're speaking facts versus feelings, and calling out the monologues, but at the end, and it's fine. You can sit there and you can say that almost nothing is going to make me change my mind. And look, my personal opinion is, first of all, fair enough, that's your stance.
I never said that.
My personal view is because of the instability in your ego, you will continue to kick the can down the road about BlueCo. Even if you got relegated, you would say, well, let's wait to see if we get out of the championship. And you'll wait. And maybe in 10 years...
The question. You mentioned ego.
Let me finish. Maybe in 10 years' time, you would win a league title and you'd go, see, didn't I tell you we would get there in the end? That's yourself, right? And that's what you're doing. It's just, I'm going to... By the way, you're no different to the Arteta outers and the Arteta inners, who I both think are wrong in that debate. It's they will continue to kick the can down the road and move the goalpost until one day, hopefully, the ball lands on the number they betted on roulette. It's a roulette game.
I answered the question. And for reference, you just mentioned ego, right?
Fine. I've accepted it. I'm just telling you.
The chat, I am David. These that know me, I can be very outspoken. Just for reference, I answered the question. Apparently, that still means I'm stroking my ego. I've literally stated we need to be worse league form than this. And apparently, that's
it's fine. It's fine. I mean, I think that after 6 years,
down to the level, it's fine.
That's fine. Listen, I'm just giving you my opinion back, and I know you're outspoken. What that normally means is you're quite rude when you come on here to people, Ches, and that's why I'm really sticking it on you rather than anybody else. Because the way you spoke to forget speaking to me like it, got very thick skin. The way you spoke to panelists when you beat Spurs earlier on this season, like you were the big I am. You spoke to them like they were pieces of scum on the bottom of your shoe.
Who you referring to?
For you then to be sitting there like this, it's hilarious, and people like to cook you a little bit. I'm just giving you my opinion back that you will never have the as a man, you don't have the strength to admit when you are wrong, and that's just all this really boils down to.
BlueCo haven't gone worse than this next season. So how do I know if I'm wrong? We've improved next season.
Well, because you know as well as I do, with the money that the big clubs have, it's very likely you're worse than this next season. So this is what you'll do.
So are you making a prediction on this channel we're going to be worse next season, based on what you think?
This is the kind of person Ches is, everybody. When we all do our pre-season predictions, what's going to happen in the season, this guy waits until almost December before he puts his in so he can be as close to accurate as possible because his ego is too...
I don't care. I'm just saying, you said we're going to be worse.
Group chat.
So let's stick to football. Let's stick to football.
This is the kind of guy in the group chats that will at people. And then when anyone ats him when something goes wrong, he's like, fucking weirdo, why are you atting me? Because his ego is very, very fragile. For such a big, muscular, in good shape man, he's very, very weak. And it's a crazy one.
Hey,
and this is what you'll do next season, Ches, is you'll be 1 point better off and you'll go, told you BlueCo we're going to do better next year. And that's why you're setting such a low bar for the standards.
So me saying we have to be worse this next season is me setting a low bar.
Yes, 100%. Because this is factually unacceptable. So like, how can you? How can get?
I don't know if I'd say
I got an E in a test. No. Quest.
Let David land. I want to hear David's point.
No, hold on. Because in the FA Cup, let's be realistic. If we draw Man City in the 4th round, we're not in the final. We got lucky that we were playing Wrexham, Port Vale, etc., etc. That's the facts of it. And you've got to do your thing. You can only beat what's in front of you. I'm not saying making a final is bad, but if we're going to be honest here, us making finals, while we do it consistently, is not always it's not a consistent thing to base your club off. That's not what you should be doing. The league is your bread and butter. Let's make that a stack. Yeah, the league is your bread and butter. If you're Form 1 in the league, you are more likely going to be in more finals. If this season right now, if we win the FA Cup, is great. But in the league, it's an F season. So saying next year, if I get an F minus, then we'll have a problem, is wrong because it shouldn't be there. We should be saying this season is unacceptable now. If we're not competing for Champions League at an absolute minimum, that's the absolute minimum I'd accept out of you. But to say, if we're in 10th right now, yeah, Bournemouth, we're chilling with Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth and them, man. That's what we're doing right now. And you just this is okay. No, this is not okay.
I can talk about football and not anything personal like that. Terry was doing fine.
I said nothing personal.
Yeah, Dave, not you, to be fair, but yeah, like.
Hang on, yes, but I'm going to address it again. The reason I got personal with you is because of the way you came on here and spoke to my panelists. I've not once mentioned something you said towards me. It's you came on here and you disrespected my panelists, and what I decided to do on that day is I was going to wait until the right moment to address you on it. That's why I'm talking about your ego, not because of something you said about me or something you've done towards me, but the way you spoke to my panelists. Because as much as it is the Football Terrace and it's my channel, the panelists are a big part of what makes this channel what it is. And the way you came on and spoke to people that, as you said, dare to question you and Chelsea, you deserve to have your personality challenged, because you were a disgrace that day, my friend. There's a fundamental difference. If you say shit about me, I don't give a damn. I've got a big enough ego myself to handle it, right? It's the way you came on here and spoke to other people, the way you've been all season with anybody that would ask you a question about Chelsea, calling them weirdos and freaks and everything. And you've gone too far with people, Ches.
Cool. Back to David's question. To answer the question, I'm not saying the mid-table is acceptable. So, you know, when I said below, to answer Terry's question, below mid-table, I don't mean being mid-table is good. It's not, David. This is terrible. I'm more referring to being BlueCo out, sitting on panels saying, I hate this club. I don't think that's going to happen. That's why I've got like the same expectation we are right now. I don't think it's going to happen.
Wait, so
people thinking it's going to happen. Huh? Sorry?
My question to you is, if they change next season, let's say they sign experienced players.
Yeah.
They sign players that we all, well, apart from maybe you, Kojo and Kwess, me and Winter Surfer sit here and go, these are not the right players. They go and get Granit Xhaka. They go get another toss-in. Me and Andrew sit here and go, that's not who we should be signing. You guys say, no, it's fine. We then finish.
Well, David, why would you say that? I wouldn't say that.
To be fair, I don't think
I'm just laying out an example. I'm just laying out an example because again, Kwess defended a certain man. I won't bring his name up, but you know what I mean. Like me and Andrew
but David, no, quick. Hey. Palmer's been worse than Garnacho this season, so then we got to have a lot of smoke for a lot of players. Palmer's been. Listen, Palmer's my boy. But this season,
Elijah.
This is why I can't have these combos though. Let me say why I understand why even Ches was saying what he was saying. Yeah, because listen, every time we come on here, the convo diverts. Listen, we haven't even really been able to speak about the game. Now we've got to the point where we're even doing personals. Do you know why? Because we can never actually just talk about the game of football. Either way, I'm just making it a point. Right? This thing, yeah. Remember that half of these issues started when obviously I said in the summer, look, I think he could be special, but I don't know about my man. I don't want him, but he's coming. So for me, he's a priority signing. So I stood on business. I said he's the guy that we have to sign because we ain't got no left wingers. And I said he could be special. I'm not gonna come onto the internet, yeah, and be like, I'm such a dumbass. People forgive me for making a prediction that didn't go right. I can't do that, bro. I made it, so I stand by it. But at the same time, David, there's not really been a lot of our wingers that have been better than him. So let's not even make it about my man. Let's just make it about what we need, bro.
I was using him as an example of a player that certain of us thought was going to be good and others of us thought was going to be bad.
Let's not go down.
Okay, but name a player that you thought was going to be good this season that hasn't performed. Then we can have a logical comparison.
Okay, fine. Do you know, I'll do it myself. I thought Bino Gittins was going to be better, and he was. And
okay, valid.
Fine. As an example, yeah. We can check on that. Anyway, but it's a play. So they sign experienced players. Me and Andrew sit here and go, oh, we don't think it's going to work. But Ches, Kwess, and Kojo say, oh, it is going to work. We'll be fine. We then finish 3 points better off. We finish 7th overall. So by Ches's logic, we've gone forward. We've improved. We're in a better league position. We've got more points. They've changed what they were going to do. By his logic, therefore, he won't be BlueCo out. Me and Andrew will sit here and go, they've changed, but they're still idiots. So we're still going to be BlueCo out.
But lost. So
this is what I mean. We got to a Carabao Cup final, brilliant. But do you get what I'm trying to say? My point is that I think Ches, your standards of what you find acceptable should be higher than we've just got to do better than this season.
David, we've grown up in the similar era where we've won a lot of trophies. All of us are similar ages. Andrew a bit older, but still, we've all grown up with trophies. Yeah, sorry. Oh, Andrew, I didn't mean it in a rude way. Andrew, it's a joke. Andrew's my friend. He goes to my channel.
I don't know what it is.
David, I don't mean in terms of this.
I want to go to Elijah because Elijah's not had any say in any of this conversation for a while. What do you make of the points that things have got to get worse before BlueCo should be challenged further? Do you agree with this, Elijah?
For me, Terry, like I keep saying it, things will get worse before it gets better because, again, like people trying to say that, we're going to improve next season, something that. Like, I don't believe them, because once again, I've been hearing, we're going to sign some experienced players. We're going to do this and that. We know that is a bunch of lies, because they will go out and sign some players that I don't rate. We'll sign the likes of, players that can be like the lap, this and that. It will not happen. And I'm sorry to say this, but it's just that next season, like, we don't know what's going to happen. But all we do know is that if we do not prove this summer transfer window, next season is going to be the same thing or even worse, because our worst position is 12th. Next season, we could be in that position again, or maybe a bit worse, because these owners do not care about this club. They really don't. And that's the problem. And for me, no matter what managers we bring in, it's not going to change, because the whole club is in a mess. It's in a mess right now. And like I said, if we do win the FA Cup, cool. But like David said, the league position is an absolute disgrace, because we should not be, mid-table or below with the amount of money that we spend. We shouldn't be. But these owners, if we do win the FA Cup, they'll say, oh, you know what? We may not get Champions League football, but we still got a trophy. And I'm thinking I'll be thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Do you honestly want to get ourselves in trouble? Because UEFA ain't going to accept this, and the Premier League ain't going to accept this if you continue what you guys do right now. So that's why, for me, I want to be positive. I want to back my team. But when I see stuff like this, I'm just thinking to myself, how on earth can I have any confidence going into next season? Just how? Because I don't see any evidence. Like, it's just... I just don't know where we go from here, Terry, but I'm just worried about next season if we don't fix this up from top to bottom.
So, wait, let me just add real quickly what you said, because I think I want to be fair. Listen, I hear all of everybody's points in it. So what I see with the BlueCo thing is, when people keep saying they're not going to change, I think that's an incorrect statement. They already changed. When they first came in, they actually bought experienced players. Right? We had experienced players, right? And then they reverted and chose another strategy, right? So where I actually agree with Chess here, and this is why I said, listen, maybe I'm wrong. I don't mind. Maybe I'm going to be wrong, but I'm going to stick with it right now. Is that I've seen you change once, right? It didn't work out. I understand some things happen. I've also got a longer memory. I think all of us have all been Chelsea fans for a very long time, so we can all remember those days you were watching us come sixth regularly. Yeah, so I'm not in that space where I have to rewrite history. I know what I was watching beforehand. So my thing here in this position is if BlueCo now see that it's not working, are they willing to make that change again? Are they willing to put that in? If they are, I'm willing to give them time to be able to make that change. Because once again, I understand how dynasties work. Okay, there is no football team that dominates forever. At some point in time, you go through a period of I said this last time. You go through a period where you are going to be the banter club. We were laughing at Man United not long ago.
Even speaks as well, yeah. Because
you know what I mean.
On that point, I'll put my hands up. I went a bit too far at the Tottenham game. Maybe I was too excited saying we're going to win the league and whatever. But what I will say is, how many teams are competing at the top for 10, 15 years consecutively? It doesn't happen. Tottenham are top 4 every season. They got mocked for it, ironically, right? And then teams like City, the anomaly, where they win and they're at the top for 15 plus years. They're rare, right? So us being like this is quite standard, but unfortunately, because we spent so much money, the context isn't applied.
But that's exactly it, though. I agree with your point, Ches, that being expected to win the league every year is ridiculous in England, because no one's ever done that. You had 3 or 4 teams in 140 years that have dominated for like a decade. The difference is when you spend what Chelsea, what Tottenham, what Man United, I've said the same things about my club under the Glazers. When you spend what we spend, we shouldn't be having teams like Bournemouths, like Brentfords, like Brightons, and it isn't always the same teams consistently over a 4 or 5 year period finish above us. We should be operating at a higher level than them because we spend so much more money. Our club's biggest issues out of everything is we've all wasted hundreds of millions on shit players. Yep. That is the fundamental biggest issue of all of our clubs in the last decade. It's why you and Man United, and we've had these arguments in the group chat about, oh, we're not as bad as you and you're not as bad as us. And it really is a micro penis conversation. The biggest issue, the reason that we ain't challenged for a league in 13 years and you haven't challenged for one in 10 years is because our recruitment has been shit. That is the long and the short of it. And the one thing about Man United in the last 2 years that's improved has been our recruitment. And as soon as we got rid of the other bad decisions, which was keeping 2 managers we shouldn't have done, we've been the best team in the league for the last 13, 14 games because the recruitment at Man United has got better. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go, we're fixed now, recruitment's great. The pressure is still on their necks to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep getting better because we've got to have another good summer. And that's what you guys have got to ask for. And I see a lot of these arguments, we bought experience before and it didn't work. Yeah, it doesn't mean you stop because City, a couple of years ago, they bought Calvin Phillips and Grealish and loads of players that didn't work. What did they then go and do? They went out, they didn't go, right, instead of going out and getting Semenyo and Gahey and Donnarumma, we're going to go out and buy 18-year-olds. They went, let's go and get other experienced players. I think you've just got to keep aiming for the best players available with a handful of young players. That model is tried and tested in every league in the world and works. And I think when people try to get clever in life and try and reinvent the wheel, how often does it, toasters already exist. I'm going to invent the see-through toaster. It's a gimmick. You know what I mean? People buy it for a few months and then they get annoyed at seeing the breadcrumbs through the toaster. You've got to clean it out every day now. Otherwise, you're like a scruff bag. Do you know what I mean? So just...
But somebody has to try, though, don't they? Someone has to try it. We can't also then say we shouldn't try new things because at the end of the day, like, we're seeing something being done we haven't seen before. There's mistakes, clear mistakes. That's fine. Like that for me is like, I should have a little bit more tolerance for mistakes. Not all the mistakes, but I should have tolerance for mistakes because people will make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think you're not saying that, but I do think that's something in football fandom that is creating this polarization when it comes to these conversations. Because I think we're saying the same thing, just coming from 2 different angles. We're both saying we don't like what's going on, but we're probably coming from the mentality of going, if it was me, I would stick it out because I would believe I could change things. And then you guys are probably saying, it's not on us. And if it was me, I would put pressure on people that can make decisions. So both of us are saying we'd make a decision. It's just where we'd put the emphasis. So that's where I'm going. For me, like, I'm not necessarily even mad at BlueCo for all the things they have tried. I do agree, though. Things have to change this summer. Better players have to come in. But it is also true that we've had better players before and not performed. Remember, we had a team with Jean Felix.
Guys, I'm going to jump to these. I'm going to jump to these super chats because we are running out of a little bit of time. I was only going to go live for an hour. We're nearly 2 hours into this therapy session. Is this a good time to inform everybody that... I don't think that's true, Sage. I saw that it's been community noted on X. No one's been invited to that competition yet. Do you know what I've noticed about X at the minute? And this is right across the board. Have you noticed how many posting like real faked like quotes and all scam? But X has gone mad at the minute in the football space. There's so much stuff that's being posted that ain't real. It's like really made up. Not just like sometimes you get a misquote of a word or two. These are just like statements that have never been said. It's crazy.
Well, Fabrizio's got the here we go AI videos.
Oh, has he?
AI videos of Fabrizio saying here we go.
Oh, wow. That's gonna say this summer's going to be fucking crazy. I need John Obi Mikel to manage Chelsea. No, I don't think anyone needs that.
What does he mean by that super chat, mate?
What do you mean, mate?
What do you mean, mate? He's taking the mic, mate. Don't mock my club, mate.
Plus, these players want to be fit for the World Cup. Some of them ain't going to the fucking World Cup.
They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it.
A lot of these players are, though. That's the dark thing, you know.
No, Enzo's going.
Enzo, Caicedo, Palmer.
What experienced players will want to go to Chelsea? Do you think Chelsea will? Listen, I spoke about this earlier. Chelsea, if Chelsea start going after experienced players, they will still be able to bring them in. I'm not going to sit here and just talk shit for the sake of talking shit. Chelsea still have massive pull. They've just got to be. They would have signed the Elise. They would have signed these players if they were willing to pay the salaries. Pay the salary. Listen, people go, Madrid's pull. Madrid and PSG got great pull, but they pay the biggest salaries as well. Like at the end of the day, no one goes to Real Madrid and goes, I'll play here for 10 grand a week. Do you know what I mean? David, when he went to work for the Formula 1 company he worked for, he went because it's 300 grand a year salary. If they were offering him 20 grand a year, they said no, wouldn't you, David? So, do you know what I mean? It's
he doesn't even put in super chats.
David, I'd come to your house.
300 grand, that's not in the whole chat.
By the way, I don't know how much David earns. I don't think it's that. It might be that much. I don't fucking know.
Definitely not. I'll tell you for free.
Ben White hates football, but he does the job. Fair. Terry, happy as fuck because knows Chelsea are the new United. No, do you know what? It isn't really about that. I actually, honestly, on a real level, as much as it's fun, I'm actually bored of watching a lot of our rivals lose games. I'm fucking bored of it because the conversations on every show are the same. I would rather teams start winning games and it gives you a more in-depth conversation. I'm actually really bored of it. It's like, again, I'm consistent with this stuff. There's only so many times you can laugh at someone. Some people seem to always, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's, oh, this ain't really, I'll get cancelled. I won't say that. Kwess, you talk out of both sides. You say Mascara was wrong for calling out these players, but then prop up only 4 and say get a new manager. Maybe the players are at BlueCo.
Yeah, bro, love for the super chat. Obviously, you was emotional when you sent this because you was fighting the keyboard, bro. I don't even understand this super chat in a real way, like with all due respect. But I don't think I'm talking out of both sides. I think I'm just trying to apply context, and I still love Maresca. That's why I hate him for what he done. But I hear what you're saying, bro. I hear what you're saying.
Terry, where is that fraud con Don? The Don Skeeter.
Oh, man.
Where is Don? Don has come out on a number of occasions publicly and sort of said, like, he got everything wrong. He's held his hands up. So you've got to give someone credit for that when they feel that way, right? What I do find mad is that it was when he admitted that, it was about 3 weeks ago. And it was only 4 weeks prior. I was out walking my dog and I went into the group chat and listened to a voice note from him where he said, bring me a good left winger and Liam Rosenior in this Chelsea squad could win the league next year. Like, he's had a massive U-turn from saying that to I got it all wrong. Don's been on a journey this year, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Told you 2 months ago, Chelsea, no Europe. You said no way. No, I did. I thought Chelsea would make Europe. I made that prediction as well. I didn't think they would drop to this level. I didn't.
Well done for guessing right. Well done.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Ches should have listened to people like LB and Hassam in the summer.
Facts.
But they didn't say we'd be 9th.
Oh, because they predicted we'd lose 6 games in a row.
Yeah, they didn't predict that either. Yeah, no one could have seen this season coming.
This hindsight super chat. That's what we call that. Well done. Use your brain.
But the thing is,
no one's going to predict it 100% accurately, right? But Seb said that he did think you guys would go backwards this year.
No, but that's a fair take because of the Club World Cup. I get that.
Yeah, that's a fair take.
I think the Club World Cup because he felt that your squad and your team and your management weren't as good as we thought it was. He didn't say because of the Club World Cup you'd regress.
To be fair, none of them are here.
Club World Cup and they might win the league.
No, I hear you. Maresca, like you did say this earlier. If Maresca was here, we're having a conversation. He's not. So that comment now does make sense. So we will never know, really.
Yeah, this is exactly why this is exactly why it turned me, because it was like there's no one can tell me.
I hear you, David. I do hear that. Yeah.
That plan for that to happen. There's no one can tell.
Yeah, exactly. It's ruined our season.
There was they just did it, and there was no contingency for it. They're not planning ahead. It's just they're just doing it for the sake of doing it.
And they still have to have standards.
Free trophies into
performance. Then this means fighting relegation. Joke, man.
Hey, when you're up, get your licks in. Get your licks in.
You say you got it wrong.
He's talking to you, Ches.
What would you say?
If you get relegated, would you say you got it wrong?
Very facetious.
As long as we make 8th place next season.
Yeah.
As long as we get 8th place and 4 more points, we're cooking. We're cooking.
Oh, David,
wait, if we go playoffs and win at Wembley, though.
David, you're on a bandwagon, yeah? You're making jokes. In
the words of Kwess, I don't even know why we're complaining. We should know what we've got with us. So why are we complaining? It don't even make sense.
Hey,
just
I'm just a positive guy.
I'm proud of the.
His response again was that's facetious when it was just a question based on a super chat, as opposed to yes or no.
I already said before, if we finish the same position, I'll be BlueCo out. So if we finish relegation, it's worse.
My prediction is you'll find a way of kicking the can down the road. It will be, well, you know how we won the Conference League and completed the set? Maybe now we could complete the English set of league titles. It'll be something like that. That's facetious.
If we won the FA Cup and made some few good signings, maybe I could be persuaded, So we'll see.
Persuaded for what? You're already in.
I'm taking a bit.
Chessy's back very strong. No amount of straw can break his back.
Elijah's head just went up straight away when he heard me say that. Man's like, what?
Give me all stream. He's back with us now. He's back with us now. Can't believe Don said he's angry at Enzo Maresca for leaving.
He was hurt, man. He's hurt. He was hurt.
Yeah, bro.
Right? He was hurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he just hurt that Maresca left. That was all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it was. We all were.
Gents, thank you all for coming on. I appreciate it. Some funny moments, some heated moments, but that's the nature of the beast. Viewers, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're back live after Everton gets slapped up by Man City later. Anyone who's expecting anything other than a Man City beatdown of Everton tonight, you are deluding yourselves.
Yeah,
Terry's doing his Terry thing. He's doing his Terry thing, you know.
Please.
He's doing his Terry thing, you know.
If it was at the Etihad, I'd have to do it. If you look at their home form and their record against the big teams at home, bro, they're getting their back blown out. Trust me. See you blowing their back out tonight.
What is this?
No,
Yellow cards all round. Yellow cards.
What's Terry's going to do? He's going to say, no. Everyone. No, Terry, don't cut the stream. Don't cut the stream. No, don't cut the stream. What Terry's going to do right now, he's going to write the title, Man City smash Everton. He's doing it before the game starts.
You get it?
I know this guy, man. I know him.
Ready.
I know him too well.
Ready.
Bro, I still did that now. I still did it like yesterday when United, even when we went 1-0 up, I left the title as Man United collapsed right to the end. I was like, I can't tempt fate. I can't tempt it. The maddest part is that I have no impact on it whatsoever, but there's something in my brain that thinks I will. Listen, everybody, this is going to redirect you to Footy Judge Mo's channel. So Sam's watch along. So make sure you're over there supporting him for the Everton City game. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. BlueCo out.